Hello there, my name is Alex Davis. I'm working as coordinator for Winter Haunts 2024. Very excited about the event coming up in November and very excited to be joined by one of our fantastic guest workshops for the day in Georgina Bruce, who is the author of This House of Wounds, Honeybones, and most recently, The House on the Moon. Georgina, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate your time. I'm just going to ask a few questions before we get going. Just think about what got you into this kind of area in the first place, of kind of ghost stories, gothic fiction. What was your starting point?
I think obviously I've always been a massive reader. I love reading, and as a kid, I loved fantasy and anything that involved, a portal into another world. And I kind of feel like ghost stories or gothic in particular maybe is that transporting into a different world. You're not quite sure what's real, and you don't understand it in the way that you instinctivly understand reality, which is a bold claim actually now that I come to think of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that displacement into another sort of realm of being. And I really like that. So I think it probably just comes from childhood reading and the things that got me excited and interested when I was a kid that have never really gone away.
Yeah, fantastic. And have you got any particular sort of favorite stories in the area? Favorite books, favorite short stories?
I mean, that's such a hard question. It's an evil question.
I know everyone
really.
says that. I know everyone says that.
Because there's so many brilliant ones, but I mean, I really love the gothic. I mean, the yellow wallpaper, such a classic. It's such a mind bender. So I really love that. And then sort of maybe more contemporary ones like the Hill House, The Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
I forgot what it's called then, because there's a new sequel to that called The House on the Hill, written by Elizabeth Hand, which is also brilliant.
Yes,
but I really love the classic ones as well. Turn of the Screw by Henry James, that's so great. And A Christmas Carol as well, the Dickens is just a perennial favorite. So yeah, there's loads. I do like the classics, have to say.
Fantastic. And if I could ask any sort of top writing tips you might give for anyone, either in general or kind of writing in this particular area, and so if you've got one nice pithy tip for anyone.
Trust the reader. I think what people do sometimes when they're trying to be creepy or scary is they over explain and they tell the reader why they should be afraid. But what is actually more scary is to leave the absences and leave the doubts. So trust that if you create the atmosphere and you create the conditions, the reader will experience that creeping sense of unease that you're trying to create. So yeah, don't do too much. Just allow that room for the reader and trust them that they're going to get it. That's
great advice, because I find those stories where I do feel a bit discombobulated are the most unnerving. Yeah, brilliant stuff. And your workshop for Winter Haunts, just wanted to ask a little bit about what you might have lined up for that one. We've got Ghosts by Gaslight, so looking forward to that immensely.
So we're just gonna have a look at some of those sort of gothic classics and maybe some contemporary versions of that as well. Have a look at the tradition and where it comes from, and then we're going to look at some ways that you can maybe incorporate elements of the gothic into your own writing, so kind of maybe bringing it up to date a bit or adapting tropes so that you can use them effectively in your own work, make them original to you. So it'll be hopefully really fun. Anybody who's trying to get a bit more creepiness and a bit more mind-bendiness into their writing, I'm hoping that there'll be something for everyone in that.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Georgina, where can people find you online? If I can sort of find you and connect.
I have a website, it's georginabruce.com, which I forget about it all the time. But I try to remember to post big things on there. But mainly I live on Substack. I have a Substack called The Distractionist, where it's really there's not much creepy on there, I have to say. I write a humorous weekly Substack post. So if you want to get in touch with me, ask me questions or anything like that, I'm over on Substack. You can find me there.
That's brilliant stuff. Thanks so much, Georgina. Look forward to your workshop, all happening 16th of November, Winter Haunts, all happening online. Gonna be a great day. Thank you so much again, Georgina.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex.